was. And you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show, the power grid. The power grid, the power grid, the power grid, and the cyber attacks. Let's keep these linked together because they're so important to keep linked together because they might tell you that these are two completely separate things when the power grid goes out in California, which they're obviously telling everyone it's going to because of hot weather. And again, hot weather, power outage, and who are they going to blame it on when the power goes out in California? They're going to blame it on the people because they're going to say the people are consuming too much energy. Give me a break. It's been hot in California before. What's the difference? I mean, what do they say? Oh, more people are using their air conditions, call. It's scientific. Yeah, give me an utter break, please. This is them testing how they're going to pull plugs all around the country, but they do test zones. They do it in certain areas. California has obviously always been a target for lots of things that test with the power grid, as well as natural disasters and the fires and other things that we've seen, which are all controlled and created by them. And by them, of course, I'm speaking of Big Brother, your own government, your own powers that be. And the other story, of course, linked to it is the cyber attacks. Now, let's start here with the power grid, because the predictive programming is too much. A week before, it's supposed to be, first of all, I've lived in California before many moons ago. All right, it's hot all the time in the summer. It's a beautiful place to live if you're in the right area. I mean, as far as the weather goes, the people, that's another story. But what is the big deal? It's 100 degrees in California. I've seen weeks in a row where it's 100 degrees and there's no rain. But now it's a huge deal, right? They're telling you that you're going to drink water that tastes like dirt. They're telling you, these are the things that they're telling people out there. Don't worry about it. Your water might taste like dirt. It's fine. This is how they treat the citizens. Remember, we're science, and a science experiment gone wrong is what America is. But to them, it's a science experiment gone right because the zombies have played right into their hand. But nonetheless, as far as the power situation, just because it's hot, everybody just believes them saying there's going to be power outage. There could be power outage. Be forewarned. There's going to be, right? Texas, California, and they're blaming it on the heat. That's because this is where they're doing the testing zones, and the heat wave is a perfect way for them to do it because the zombies will buy into it and go, oh, it was so hot, everyone had their air conditioner on, and boom, the power went out and the whole stayed. Oh, convenient. Here's the predictive program. You want to check in?
Who is Onision? This story is fascinating. He has cult status on the internet and amongst YouTube.
I was 17 by the time he said that he loved me. We wouldn't allow it to happen in person, so why do we allow it to happen online?
Onision in real life. Streaming now, only on Discovery Plus.
Man, this right here, crusty, sandpaper. You don't want that. Get something better for your skin.
I finally decided to do it. I upgraded my soap. I'm about to be a new man after this.
You can literally see what's inside of the soap. I can really feel it exfoliating and getting off all that dry, dead skin.
Sea salt, sand, oatmeal, coffee grounds.
So I'm lathering up. As you can see, my skin is tingling because I can feel the soap just going deep into my pores.
When I'm in the shower, I can feel it cleansing and exfoliating. Almost like I'm having an affair. Oh, the chances.
I was blown away at how many options there were. Dr. Squatch has 11 different scents, like cool fresh aloe, gold moss, or spearmint basil.
If you smell like this all the time, things will be better.
If you want to please your partner, get some Dr. Squatch.
Out west. So with more on this historic heat, our Matt Government is in Los Angeles for us with the latest.
This morning, the dome of
of heat scorching the West is expanding and shattering records. For multiple days now, tens of millions of Americans sweltering in temperatures above 100 degrees, triggering these fires in Arizona and Nevada, and it's pushing electrical grids to the brink. The skyline in Dallas darkened, and utility companies from Texas to California are begging people to set thermostats at 78 degrees and brace for possible blackouts. And yet it is still technically spring. Experts say climate change is making heat waves more intense, more frequent, and longer lasting. It is also supercharging the mega drought that is drying up lakes and reservoirs that millions of homeowners and farmers rely on for their water supply. It looks like I'm walking in the middle of the desert, but until about a year ago, this was 50 feet underwater. Now, Folsom Lake has been shrinking so fast that state officials tell us that by December it'll just be 2 rivers and a small pool of water. California has some of the best modeling anywhere for droughts, and yet it could not predict how bad this year really is.
Right, they weren't even close.
And Governor Newsom of California overnight declaring a state of emergency here, citing the extreme heat peril. Now, basically, this frees up utility companies to ramp up operations to keep those air conditioners going. A lot of people don't know this, but extreme heat kills more people every year than any other kind of extreme weather. Wind.
Big concern. All right, Matt Gutman for us. Thank you so much.
And that predictive programming right there is what they're continuing to push out. They're pushing it, prepping people for it. So don't be surprised if it does end up happening there, because they're already telling you it's going to happen. And maybe it won't be this week with this heat wave, but it could be another one, or it could be after the heat wave, so people aren't suspicious, and then they go, oh, well, the heat wave, it happened after the heat wave because it just burst because so many people during it were using their air. I mean, they can do it whenever they want. This is what Big Brother does. The other thing, obviously, to keep an eye on is the cyber attacks, because these correlate. Because in reality, what's happening is your own government is attacking your power grid. They're blaming it on a cyber attacks, and then your fake politicians who are actors, all of them, okay, are Freemason. When I did the video recently, if you didn't see it on the Make-A-Wish, I went through the list of people who were just from Cornell, who are part of the secret societies that I discussed, the Quill and whatever, the Quill and Gay, all of them, because they're all embarrassments. You go through the list, it's like people you would never hear of, right? Because people would look and they'd be like, is Kim Kardashian on there? Is so-and-so on there? What famous people? All of your politicians are members of these secret societies. They all network and work together to do this to the people, to control them. That's how they keep control. Through mind control, through all this stuff, the tests and the experiments they do on everyone. And I was going through the list, and there are people, Secretary of Energy, defense team. I mean, the list was hilarious. That was just from Cornell. That's not the other secret society, from Princeton to Skull and Bones, which we all know about, to Stanford, to Columbia, okay, the Ivy League schools. It's almost like, what is the success rate? 100% if you go to Ivy League school and you are in a secret society, that you're going to earn being a top politician because you're so smart compared to the rest of us idiots? Not happening. And by the way, we're smarter than them because they created the internet to do a lot of different things. The internet's turned against them for the most part because people are getting way too much information that they never thought people would put out there. But that's how God works. People are networking and figuring things out. And that's why they want to blow the internet up now. They had obviously a lot of reasons to have the internet with the online banking and the one world currency. They had a lot of reasons, obviously, for the cyber attack that's planned. These are all things they thought of way before the internet was here and released to the public, even though it was around before it was released. Anyway, it's turned on them for the sense that people are learning about the secret societies. They're learning about these people. They're learning that they're thinking a little bit more, right? At least we are. And, other truther channels, maybe people who don't like me or don't like to hear my voice, which is fine, are still awake and hearing this stuff and understanding this stuff and know that these people are controlling. So, anyway, back to the power grid from the secret societies, and obviously how all of these people just happen to all go to these big schools. They all happen to control all of these things. They control the grids and what they're doing. So the politicians are coming out, and the repetition and the pattern through the news articles is senators and other people are coming out saying, if there's another cyber attack, Russia's in big trouble, right? So automatically, like I said a couple weeks ago, if you remember, I did a video about McDonald's was under attack for a cyber attack. Days before that, I had said Amazon, places that people go on the norm, or normally, I don't know why I said that, will be under attack so people can relate firsthand. Oh, but I go there. Is my information under attack? I use Amazon. Is my information under attack? Right? That's how they start normalizing this stuff. But what was trending online, even though they claimed it wasn't a cyber attack, was Russia, Amazon cyber attack. Because they want to see, and they want the minds of the masses to constantly, if there's anything involving an attack now on the grid or the internet, the zombies are going to go to Russia. That includes the alt-right imbeciles, most of which who are bought and paid for, suit and tie wearing schmucks who, are Trump supporters and, QAnon, all of them, right? Russia is doing this. You never hear these people talk about the jab and not getting the jab, nor do you hear these people talk about how it's their own government. I mean, the only time they'll talk about it is they'll bring up Biden because they believe in the left-right. They don't realize that all these countries, Trump and Biden, everyone is working together against the people. Everywhere. So the citizens of all these countries who they want to make world citizens are under attack from their own governments from within. And when these leaders meet at the Bilderberg meetings, at the G7, at the Bohemian Grove, in addition to doing disgusting acts with little ones, they're planning this stuff and they're talking about it. And they're all using the same patterns, the same attacks, cyber attacks, this and that. And who they're going to point the finger at, right? So America points the finger at China and points the finger at Russia. Russia points a finger at America. This country points. And meanwhile, all the citizens, that's the thing, they have to have a finger to point at because the citizens, if they found out their own government was doing it, then there'd be an uprising. Then there'd be upheaval. And they cannot have that happen. So here's some of the stories, too, with the cyber attacks. Because remember, the narrative out there is pointing to Russia. If you look it up, you'll see recently they're getting you prepared. And that's when they pull the plug on us, our own government, everyone's going to point to Russia. This is an article out there that's saying reports estimate that major cyber attacks could cost more than recovering from natural disasters. So be prepared for them to blame it. They'll blame it on Russia, but we have to, to get everything back, it's going to come out of our pockets and everything else they could possibly do to rip money out of your pockets. The cost of major cyber attack on a critical major U.S. utility or service provider could equate to that of natural disasters such as a hurricane, a report released Monday found. The report put together by experts from the Foundation of Defense for Defense of Democracies and Insurance Group used a risk-taking system to develop blah, blah, blah. The findings estimate that a 3-day cyber disruption of a managed service provider giving IT services to hundreds of customers across a variety of critical fields could lead to an economic loss of almost $80 billion. More than $65 billion cost from Hurricane Sandy in 2012. Okay? Now remember, they have multiple ways to do this attack. They're going to use heat. They're going to use weather because they want to mix climate control in. Don't forget, they want to mix climate control in because eventually they want people. The stuff you saw with the 1-9er, people are going to be doing for climate change. Masks, not breathing. I mean, it's going to be unbelievable. Getting rid of meat. Because they want to it's the whole thing is going to have to do with climate change. So that's tied in too with this. So right now with the stuff in California, you're going to hear about the weather so they can keep climate change on the edge of your tongue. And at the same time, you're going to hear about utilities going down because of cyber attacks. So they're attacking this multiple ways. And when there's multiple variants for people to think about who could be behind it, the more that they put out there, and they never obviously put themselves out there, then the less likely people are to say, this is suspicious, what's our government doing and why? Oh, it's global warming call. Oh, the weather temperatures. I live in Oregon. It's so hot, it's never been this hot. Oh, it hasn't? I mean, just your recollection? I mean, I can't remember, a specific, it was hot this one summer. I mean, it's hot sometimes, and it's not sometimes. It happens. Heat waves always happen. Always, but they'll blame it on climate change, and they'll blame it on people for using too much energy. Thus, they can pull the plug, or they could say it's shut down because too many people were using it. Okay. And then the climate, and then another cyber attack comes through on a utility grid somewhere else where the weather might not be as hot. Let's say like Montana, even though I think they're having a heat wave too, apparently. Just hypothetically pick somewhere, right? Oh man, cyber attack, all the oil and all the gas is out, like they just did with the, doing the gas attack, the cyber attack from Russia. In another state, they can use that as an example. But in reality, my point being is that these variants that they're throwing at you are just the variants for mind control. Your government is pulling the plug. Your government is pulling the food resources and not stocking the shelves at the stores. They're the ones doing it. And they want you to look here and look there and never look up at them. That's how this whole thing works. And these people doing it, they're your politicians, your secret society members, your Ivy League educators. They look at you like you're cattle, like you're nothing more than a turd. That's how they feel about us. And guess what? As far as I'm concerned, the feeling's mutual with these people. They're lower than that, and they need to be flushed. And all we can do is try to wake people up, and that's the only way we're going to get them flushed. I would remind everyone to check out the website at callfornuprising.com. It's $2.99 a month. It's well worth it. People are sharing their channels, their own blogs, things like that, which is great. I'd love to see that. Everybody should have a voice. Everyone deserves a voice. Some people can talk and do YouTube videos. Other people, shy, are not really great speakers or great writers. And that's another great thing. You know, people out there are like, I wish I could do what you do. I don't do anything. You know, okay, God gave me a gift to be a good speaker. And yeah, I can find the stuff. There's people who do great research better than me, and they just aren't great speakers about it. And they start YouTube channels. They're like, no one listens to me, and they listen to Cole. Cole's a show. Well, maybe you're not a great speaker, but maybe you're a good writer. Or maybe there's other ways you can get that information to people. So that's what's great about the website. Everyone's sharing and interacting, and it's always active, 24/7. There's so much to read, and it's just great. So check it out if you haven't. It's $2.99 a month. I want to thank the Patreons because you keep me here on YouTube. So thank you. Please thumbs up the videos if you can. You have the time to. It helps share the videos with others who are not awake. They might stumble upon the video, so that's how we got to beat the algorithm. And a reminder to check out my other channel. It's up to it. It's pinned in the comment section below, as well as in the description box. One more strike I won't be able to upload here for a week or two. I'm not sure if it's a week or 2 weeks. But you never know. You can wake up and there's a strike. That's how it works here on YouTube. It could be a video from 25 years ago. It doesn't matter. That's how ridiculous it is. So definitely make sure you do that. I want to thank everyone for being here. Keep an eye on Big Brother, because they're coming for you. They're coming for your power and your food. But don't worry. They'll try to feed you with their soy and gather all of us up in their FEMAs. But we have to continue to resist. We have to continue to wake up the masses. And we have to continue not to give in. That's what we can do. And keep informing people. So thank you for being here. God bless all of you and your families.